To turn their Bibles to one that you all know. Psalm 23. And I ask you to turn to Psalm 23. We're going to read from verse 1 on up to verse 4. Stand on your feet when you're ready. Woo. Musicians, I can only say you guys are awesome. Thank you. I'm going to read 23rd Psalm, verses 1 through 4. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me, my rod. May thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You can be seated now. Thank you. I want to define two particular words. The word fearless is to expect with misgivings. Now, that meaning, when you're going after something, you have a desire for something, you expect to get something out of it. You may not get all of it, but you expect to get something out of it. And fearful is a feeling causing you to feel afraid. Fearful is a feeling that causes you to feel afraid or one who shows fear. The reason why I chose Psalm 23 this morning because we know when David was going through his perils, he always put his trust only in the Lord. He knew the Lord would always take care of him. And from that psalm, I realized that no matter what you're up against, you have to look to the Lord. And, we talk about faith. There's two faiths. Matter of fact, my topic on this morning is fearless faith versus fearful faith. Where does your faith lie? We know when we go to the Lord with a burden on our hearts and our minds and whatever, we're praying to Him to bring us out of something. But at the same time, when some people pray, they're praying to the Lord, but at the same time, hey, I know I prayed to God, but I don't know if He can really do this for me. That's fearful faith. Fearless faith is going to the Lord, look, I need you to do this. I know you can do it because you told me if I had a problem, I bring it to you and you would take care of it. And you got to stick to that Lord, this is your child talking to you. I'm talking to my daddy. You got to take care of this for me. That's fearless. That's fearless. And I like what Pastor talked to us about the other week, about praying boldly. About praying boldly. You can't go to the Lord like a wimp. Hey God, please, I need a quart of ice cream, Lord, but if you can see fit, no. Lord, I want a gallon of ice cream. I want a gallon of ice cream. And I know you can make it happen for me. You can make it happen. And you look, and as you go through the scriptures, you look at the stories we all know. We know what Job went through. We know when he could just easily went down as his wife was trying to tell him, look, curse the Lord and go and die. But no, he wasn't going that route because he had that fearless faith. He had that fearless faith that if I'm going to go down, I'm going down fighting. I'm going down swinging. I'm going down swinging. I'm not going out like that. And, and it's just others, you hear some people just moan and groan and you tell them, look, get on your knees. Get on your knees. Look up to the Lord. Pray to the Lord. Well, but I've tried it before and he didn't answer. Well, you're still here, aren't you? You're still here. You could have just been taken out. You could have just been taken out. And the one thing you don't want to do is say you believe in the Lord or you so-called know the Lord, but you don't have no faith in Him. Now, you're doing it to yourself when you go that route. Right? But like I said, when you look at Job, who trusted to the very end, And when the end flipped, everything worked in his favor. When his friends once again went against him, talking to him, trying to convince him that he did something wrong, that he was going through whatever, he never lost faith in the Father. And because of that, he was given opportunity to make back everything he lost twofold. So we got to remember that. And then we look at old Mr. Mighty Peter. Look at how Brother Peter, when Jesus said, he wanted to walk on the water. Jesus told him, come on, keep your eye on me though. Keep your eye on me. He got out the boat, walked on the water. I guess something distracted him, either that or he just thought he could do it by himself. He looked the other way, started going down. You gotta have, when you're talking to the Lord, you gotta have fearless faith. I'm a believer in that. I've seen the results of it. I know when there was a time I would have been weak. I know when I just surrendered, Lord, this is on you. I'm coming to you with this. You take it whichever way you say it's going to go. And faith is something, as we said before, you don't see it. It's nothing you can reach out and touch. It's not a tangible item. But within yourself as a believer, it's around you all the time. It's around you all the time. We go out of our homes, we walk in faith. We cross the street, we cross in faith. We get on the subway, we ride the subway in faith. Because we know we hear all the stories that happen to everybody else in these different situations, but it didn't happen to us. God's got his hands on everything moving on this earth. God hears it all and knows it all. And if you sit there trying to figure out, well, I think God only hears what he wants to hear. I think God only knows what he wants to know. Well, there's not really anything left for God not to know. And I'm sure God has not. There's nothing that he hasn't heard. As the saying goes, it's in the Bible, there's nothing new under the sun. Been there, done that. You try to tell God about it? Yeah, I know. I put it there. I put it there. I put you through the trials and the tribulations you're going to go through. Nobody said this was going to be a rose garden the day we were born and came out. But we do have our optional assignments that we must work with to make life work for us. We say, oh, look, some people were born with a silver spoon, man. What kind of faith did they have? Some people have wealth and don't even know how they got it. They don't have the clue as to how they became so fortunate, born into situations where, as well as I think, Donald Trump made a saying something about he was so beautiful because he was rich, or something to that effect. You know, he didn't get rich. His father was rich and brought him into it. You know, so we have to always keep in our mind that whatever we have, whatever faiths we display, if you're not fearlessly faithfully, you're only fooling yourself because you're not fooling God. You are not fooling God. We look in 2 Kings how when Hezekiah got the word, you're about to be taken out of here. Your time is coming. Send them a messenger to tell him. He said, no. I was told to come and tell you, get your stuff in order, because you're about to leave. Now Hezekiah wasn't feeling well at the time anyway, so now you're thinking, how do you do that to somebody when they sick? But some way, shape, form, strength, energy, he got up and started praying. He prayed to the Lord, and we talk about, here's where that fearless praying coming in at. Lord, I was this to you, I was that to you, I was loyal to you, I never cursed you, I never turned my back on you. I was there when you said I was your humble servant. I can't leave here yet. And he cried and moaned and groaned, and the messenger come back later and told him, look here, Lord heard your weeps. Lord heard your prayers. You got 15 more years. All right now you get busy do what you got to do. And this is how we, as a people, we got to take that same approach. If we say we're believers, we say we believe in God. Don't say you believe in God and then walk the other way. Oh, I don't think God will look out for me. I mean, I know I prayed to him, but I don't think he's gonna look out for me. Because it may not come when you want it to happen. It may not come when you want it, but it'll come when he feels you need it. And you can be thankful for that, because sometimes just because you want something, you don't really need it. Amen. But when you need it and it comes, that's when it's on time. Amen. That's when it's on time. So we must learn that for many of us who don't understand it. And you cannot, as I said, you can't pray to God when you're full of fear. I mean, if you're going through something, yes, Lord, please take me, hold my hand, get me through this. Get me through this. Because it was said, we're going to go through tribulations on this earth. Look at what Jesus went through when he went in. And he showed them who he was. Did that care? Did you think other men care about that? No. Didn't care at all. Now, I'm saying be faithful, yes. Pray to God boldly. But let's not get a little silly praying to God, asking him for, I like 2 Harley Davidsons. I would like 2 Harley Davidsons, Lord, and a Lamborghini in there if you could throw one in. Because that's ridiculous. I mean, I wouldn't expect the Lord to answer nothing like that either. That's ridiculous. But yet, you got some people who think that they can do that. Or they want a mansion when they can't even take care of the apartment. You can't even take care of 1 or 2 bedrooms. So how do you want 6 rooms with 6 baths? You don't clean the first bathroom. Unless you're going to have maid service or something. So be careful of what you ask the Lord for. But make sure when you go to the Lord, you put something in front of him. Make sure it's something that's sensible. Because I got a feeling if you don't, it's going to sit there a long time. Now, as I said, I wasn't going to stand here before you all long. But you know how I am. I like to just bring it, give it to you. Like Pastor said, he didn't quit. So one other thing I wanted to just bring to your attention, another example of fearful faith. When the disciples were in the boat, Jesus was in the boat. He was cool, calm, and collected. Matter of fact, taking a nap. The water was choppy, boat was rocking up and down and whatnot, and they panicked. They panicked and got scared and whatnot. You know what I mean? He just lay there. They just didn't know what to do. And and you find it in Mark 4, verse 40, where he turned and asked the questions. Is why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? Now, these are his disciples, been with him all along. They see him calm. They know what he can do. They know he's a miracle worker. They know They've seen him, see what he does, performing miracles and what have you. So if he wasn't panicking, why should they have panicked? Why should they have panicked? Which tells you that all the time he was teaching them in the 3 years or whatever, they didn't get it all. They didn't get it all. They didn't get it all. Some of that we talked about in Sunday school this morning, where when he made them aware that he would be departing from them soon, and that things were going to change, and there would be a comforter coming along and would teach them or make sure they carry on with his teachings and make sure they were to go out and spread. Because at the time, they still didn't get that. They thought they were supposed to just follow him, and I guess when it ended, that's when they thought it ended. But that's not what he was prepping for. Just like in Pastor's leadership training yesterday, as he was saying, what Pastor Williams, and it took me a little while to get on to what Pastor Williams here was doing with us since I've been in this ministry. He was training me to be able to get up here and do what I'm doing now. That's what he was doing. And feel comfortable about it. Because Lord knows when I first came in here 4 or 5 years ago, you would have probably had to drag me up here to get up here and do what? Pastor, come on. By the way, you're going to speak next week. Oh, okay. And then with Mama Wee did her chapel training, it just brought it out more. And I learned how to pray fearlessly. I learned I'm not ashamed to get up 3 o'clock in the morning and pray. Walk around the room, walk through the house and pray. I have no problem. And I remember what my mother used to do at that time. And I would listen to her. But now I understand. And coming on to the Lord as my shepherd here has guided me, I understand it even better. Amen. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that. I just have a little testimony I want to share with you all before I come to a close. And again, this is why I believe so much in fearless faith. My nephew in South Carolina, he calls me Uncle Daddy. And last year, this time, he was going through something we didn't know. He went to work and the company shut down, didn't tell nobody. Put 500 people out of work, just like that, midnight. Midnight shift came in, doors was padlocked, management wasn't there, they were all standing outside wondering, thought maybe somebody running late. But it's a factory that will run 24 hours. Suddenly it was closed. So now, here he is, faced with a mortgage, faced with 2 car notes, and a wedding that they had to pay for. The wife was working, but not to meet all of those expenses. So he talked to me about it. He talked to to the minister who was going to perform the marriage for me. He talked to him about it. And I told him, I said, sounds like the Lord's putting you to the test right now. This is the beginning of your test. I said, because you remember, you're going to take vows in the eyes of the Lord to marry this woman. And their terms is going to be richer for poor, better for worse, sickness and health. And I think the Lord says you're taking this step to want to unite with a partner. Some people get to do the test after they're into it. I think you're going to go into it unattested. But be of good cheer. I gave him scriptures to read. He called me when he felt down. I says, I'm going to give you an example of what some people I know who went to do time in jail. And they came out educated. And a couple of them said, you know what I did? He said, I didn't go, he said, when I went in, I didn't go in to do the time. I didn't go in to serve the time. I let the time serve me. And went to school in jail while they were incarcerated and got degrees, bachelors, got degrees, went in without even a high school diploma and came out with bachelors. Because they let the time serve them. So like I was saying to my nephew, I says, God's going to make a way for you. If the cable goes off, you can live without that. You can always pop one of them videos, one of them CDs. You got videos in every video, recorders in every room. Pop one of them in there. He said, "Look, Daddy, I got you." I said, if you get strapped for food, there's people gonna feed you. From New York all the way down there, people gonna feed you. Let me know if the lights go out though. You don't want to be in the dark. So your wife working, you know she's there for you no matter what. He said, you know one thing? This job don't look like it's going to ever return. He said, I think I'm going to school. He said, I'm going to enroll in this truck driver's course that I saw. I said, okay, go ahead and do it. You need the help? Let me know. I'll do what I can one way or the other. He said, yes, indeed. He went on, enrolled in that school, stuck it out. Sometimes he said he felt like giving up because he had to be away from home for a week at a time. And being that everything was situated the way it was economically, he felt bad leaving the wife and the kids home. But she says, no, you go do it. You go do it. We'll come through this. This shall pass. Well, long story short, he went and did it. He got his CDL. He got job offers before he came out of school. Because the trucking business is a big industry. And the minute they know, they want fresh. Jobs was coming at him left and right. He didn't know which one to take first. And so from last year now to this year, he's already had 3 different jobs. He called me on Thursday. He said, tell me, what you think about this? He said, I just got another, he said, I got an offer. It's going to put me closer to home, Monday to Friday, and more money, and incentives. He said, I said, what they talk about starting with? He said, well, they talk about, I want to start between 42,000 and 48. I said, man, you're making New York money. See if you got some home for me. He said, I would love that. I said, you making New York, you talk about New York money in South Carolina? All right. He said, I might build another wing to the house for you and Mom. That's what he said. I might build another wing to the house for you and Mom. I said, God bless you. I said, now, was it worth going through it? He said, yeah. I said, what did I tell you about when it might look tough? Because you can't see the other end of it. But look at where you at now. Look at where you at now. You don't have to hide the cars in the back of the yard. In case the man might come. You don't have to worry about the cable being shut off. And he was telling me he's helping one of his friends down there having a little tough time. Said that's what you're supposed to do. That's how you bless. The Lord blessed you, now you bless him. So I'm so happy and so proud. I told him, I said, I'm gonna share your testimony. I said, you just put the seal on my sermon. And we were talking about faith. So what I encourage you is be a fearless, faithful to the Lord. Amen. And let the praises flow, and to God be the glory. I'm done.